Neil, thanks very much for joining us. Segro is obviously very well known in terms of being a key player in the industrial and logistics sector. You've just launched a new Segro fund. So just tell me a little bit more about that, and also, I suppose, the thinking behind that particular initiative.
We actually celebrate our centenary birthday on May the 19th. We've always tried to make really positive interventions to support communities where we have a presence. And this goes back, as far back as 1936, where we set up a fund in Slough to support health, social and well-being of the employees on the Slough trading estate. So it's always been part of something that's really, really important to Segro. And today's no different. We are a long-term investor in regions and cities around the UK, and we want to support disadvantaged members of our local community, because unfortunately many of those members of those communities are living in areas of deprivation. So we believe our new Centenary Fund can really change their lives. So we're committing £10 million over 10 years, and that's to invest in those communities right across our UK and continental portfolio. And the focus of the fund is to make a long-term commitment to helping disadvantaged people into employment. So we're really focused on where we invest that money and how we invest it to make sure that those members of the community that are furthest away from employment get our support. But we're facing a crisis that we've never faced before. So in response to that COVID crisis, we've acted really quickly, I think, to launch the fund ahead of schedule, ahead of our centenary celebrations on the 19th. And more importantly, refocus that funding to ensure that we can support many thousands of vulnerable members of our community that are affected by this emergency.
What are those the kind of shorter term aims, and also therefore the longer term aims given the 10-year span?
Well, I think in the short term it really is about this kind of emergency response. So we've allocated £1 million this year in 2020 to support the most vulnerable members of our community affected by COVID-19. And we've already funded 24 projects. We've actually got money out the door as quickly as we possibly can, and that's already supporting 7,000 people, and that's predominantly focusing on that pressing need to deliver food, medicine and essential household products, particularly for residents that are shielding. But there are also some really fantastic projects out there. We're sponsoring kits for 2 newly qualified trained medics. Now they're going to be fully kitted out. We'll be able to help 500 local residents. So we're really focusing on impactful local projects. But longer term, and I think this is really important, this is a 10-year commitment. We are really looking at supporting, tens of thousands is our aspiration, tens of thousands of disadvantaged people on their journey back into employment. You'll know that Segro is an industrial developer, and we create really kind of employment space. So we want to make sure that local residents and members of the community benefit from that. But there are some that face a number of barriers and a number of challenges, and they need specialist support with their training and their skills needs. So that's where we want to invest our money and give them every opportunity to get a pathway, a career path into employment that really will help them, live, healthier and more fulfilled lives.
How do you deliver that on the ground in order to make that sort of real difference over this timeline? And I'm aware that Segro obviously also has quite a lot of ESG strategies, community strategies. So is this something separate and different, or are you integrating it within those strategies?
The success of the Centenary Fund will be judged on outcomes. It's a fantastic commitment by the company, both in terms of the size of the fund and the longevity, that long-term commitment. But we will be judged on the outcomes. And like you rightly say, will it make a difference on the ground? And that would be around, how many people we've helped and whether we've really made a difference into getting them back into employment. But, we can't deliver this on our own. But in the UK, we've established 6 fantastic partnerships with community foundations. And these community foundations are charities that operate at a regional level. And they have the knowledge and the expertise to help us invest our funding in the right charitable projects at a very local level. And I think in terms of your question around ESG, we're really focused on creating really high quality, sustainable portfolio. And that's about meeting the needs of our customers and wider stakeholders. So, and that includes, people living, living near our buildings and our industrial estates, as well as working in them, which is very much around what the Centenary Fund is about. So I would say, very much aligned with our ESG strategy.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Neil, for telling us more about the fund. Very interesting. Great to also have a kind of positive story, I think, and also I'll look forward to actually coming back and maybe picking up on this in a year's time and finding out, some of the outcomes for it and some of the things that the fund has actually achieved. But thanks very much for today.
Richard, thank you. It's been a real pleasure.